Hello everyone, Joe here, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to create an image, sort of an old-timey kind of image, and I thought this was appropriate with the old steam train. This is the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railway, and I thought this would look better kind of in a black and white sepia kind of look. Now I've already done some basic edits. In fact, I've actually done some heavy edits on this. That time for another day. Here's the actual original raw file, and had one of our guys there, so I did some edits on it to get rid of him and to just kind of get the aspect ratio that I wanted. Now as I'm looking at it, let's go to the basic panel. I think maybe it's a little dark. Let's see. No, actually what the problem is, it's the highlights. Let's bring the highlights down because I'm trying to visualize this as a black and white. Now, can Lightroom do black and whites? It can. I can just click on black and white and you get a black and white. There's a couple things missing though. For example, let's come down to black and white. Just so you do have some control. Click on this little button, and anything you want darker or lighter, you can click and drag. So if I click and drag, look, I can make the sky go really dark. I can make this kind of ground here go darker. But then the problem is it makes the train lighter. So then I have to get a brush, which is K. I'll turn on auto mask and I'll just come in and get the train. And oh, so that's okay. That other stuff can go lighter also. And then bring up the exposure, which helps it a little bit. Now, it's not a terrible black and white. There are some things that are missing though. To me, black and white should have green. And green, yes, Lightroom does have green, but actually it's not very good. And the other part of it is, I would really prefer this to be kind of a sepia color, and Lightroom doesn't have the ability to take a color image that you've converted to black and white and just apply like a sepia tone to it. There's a workaround for it, and again, if you want to do this, this is better done in Photoshop, but the workaround is to create another mask using a brush. So I'll get a brush again. Let's create a new mask, and we'll get a brush. And I'll turn off auto mask, and what you need to do is come down to where the color box is, and this is a little used thing here. Click on color box, choose a color that's kind of like the sepia you're after. Oh, I'm gonna say, oh, let's say something like that, and then you just need to start painting over the entire thing to turn it that color. So you're basically just putting a layer of sepia over it. Now there is a grain slider down here. If you come down a little bit further, here's grain, and we can add a lot of grain or less grain, but you just don't have the kind of control that I think is necessary to create a really good kind of old-timey photo. So I'm going to reset this image, and we're going to instead send it into Nick's Silver Effects. So we go to Photo, Edit in, Silver Effects Pro. Now this is not included in Lightroom, and yes, we want any adjustments. This is not included, you have to buy it, but you get so much stuff with it. So if you don't have it, do yourself a favor and get it. So here's the default conversion of black and white in Silver Effects, and that's all well and fine. But if you look over on the left here, there's all these presets that are great starting points. So one of my favorites for doing conversions like this is something called Wet Rocks. Let's just scroll down till we see Wet Rocks. There it is right there. And yes, it's dark. That's okay. Then we come over to the sliders on the right, and I'm going to bring the brightness up overall. But then you see, well, maybe some of this is a little too heavy. We have complete control over that. Anything you want to do, I can open up the shadows a bit. I can also bring the highlights down some more. So I'm thinking something like that is going to be good. But there's more. And this is where it's going to get a lot of fun. Let's scroll down. Until we come to these finishing adjustments. And the first one that I love is toning. Now there is a sepia in here. So if we scroll down until we see the word sepia, here's sepia. Oh, that's nice. Don't mind that. Here's a little heavier sepia, number 20. And you could say, well, I'm done. That really looks good. There's another one that I like, and this will come as no surprise to you guys. It's actually called Coffee. And I happen to like the middle one, number 14, But the color you choose, that's up to you. Now we also, as we scroll down, now just above that, we also have film grain, and you can set the intensity and the grain size. So if I want the grain to be small, finer or smaller, I can make it really fine or I can make it really rough. And also the intensity. Do I want a little bit of grain or do I want a lot of grain? And we'll do all those kind of things. Let's add a little bit of grain to it. And also, as we're here, we have image borders. And image borders are a lot of fun. Let's click on there. And they are completely unhelpfully named. Type 1, that doesn't mean anything. So what you have to do is you got to scroll through, find the one you like. As I drag down, let's find, I happen to know that number 12 is one of my favorites. So I'm going to come to 12. And after you select that, you have the ability to adjust what's going on with the border. There's the size, so I can bring that up or down. Now, if I cut down the size, what it does is it goes closer to the edge. So I'm going to go a little bit closer there. Then there's the spread, how far into the image, a little bit or a lot. Again, that's personal preference. And if you want to see some variations on what you've done, you can put a number in here, or you can click on this thing, which is going to automatically kind of pick a variant for you on the edges. Oh, I like that one. That's pretty good. Now, isn't that looking a heck of a lot better? And we can see the before and after with this slider. Look, there's our original black and white conversion as we brought it in. And here's after the fact. Now, while we're here, we can still go back in and decide, well, gee, maybe it got a little too bright. So let's bring the brightness down a little. And I'm liking that. And if you want to take it one step further, let's say there's one area you want to adjust. We scroll down to the control points. And I get a control point, and I'm going to put it in this bright area and bring the brightness just of that area down. And I can adjust that by making the circle bigger or smaller. So let's bring down the brightness a little more there. And rather than have to go get it again to do the same thing over here, if you hold down the Option or Alt key, I can drag it, which will make a copy of it, to bring it over there. I want to make that a little bit darker. I want to focus on the engine. In fact, while I'm at it, let's create another control point right on the front of the engine here and bring the brightness up a little bit. Let's just see if we can, oh yeah, let's do that and add a little bit of contrast and a little bit of structure. And I think we're done. I think we got it there. So again, let's drag across and look at the before and look at the after. Doesn't that look cool? So I'm just going to hit apply, and that will apply everything we've just done to the image and send it back into Lightroom so we can see. And I think that looks awesome. So if we go full screen, here's our original color shot. And here's what we got from going into Silver Efex Pro 2, or Pro 3 rather. Very cool image. And again, you adjust the grain and the brightness and things to your likeness, but it really creates an image that kind of has that old time feel, and it's so appropriate for this. So if you don't have Nik Silver Efex, certainly take a look at the Nik package. Just look up NIK, just do a search for it, and you get a whole bunch of filters, including Viveza, which is probably my favorite filter for landscape editing. So that's it. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you online again soon. Bye-bye.